Hello again, roomies. We are back for another episode of the Engine Room podcast. Messi already making waves down in Miami. Nations League recap. Mbappe drama 2.0, a Saudi League shopping spree. All that and more on today's episode. I got BUGA and Pablo with me. Before we dive in, make sure you subscribe, 5-star ratings, like, share, all the things that support the channel. We do appreciate it here on the Engine Room podcast. With that out of the way, let's introduce the boys. Pablo, how are we doing today, sir?
Hello, I'm doing well, thank you. I had a bit of a laughing spree before we started with a few things that have gone on off camera, but I'm doing well, thank you.
We're gonna have a giggle fest here. Booga, how are you, my good man?
It's way too early.
Yes, Booga getting the short end of the stick. He's an hour behind me and 6 hours behind Pablo. So early one for Booga. Waking up, talking about the wide world of football. I hear we have some twisted takes, gentlemen. Pablo, you want to start things off with your twisted take?
Yeah, go on. It might be something people agree with a lot more in recent days, but I'm going to say that for me, Rodri from Man City in Spain is top 10 or top 5 players in the world. Definitely top 10 for me, and I think people have been considering him for the Ballon d'Or, and that's why I'd push top 5. Ooh. I think this season for me, I'd struggle to name 5 footballers who've been better than Rodri. I think he's just been outrageously good. He's the best CDM in the world for me. What he's done for Man City, Champions League final winning goal, by the way, is something you'll never forget. Obviously, even players who've done poorly, like Havertz, for example, for Chelsea, like you just don't forget that. And even after that, he rocks up with Spain a few days later, wins MVP of the Nations League, wins that with Spain. I mean, he's just done everything for me this season. Like, he's the complete footballer, and I just think the way he's progressed at Man City, he's actually turning into not just like a solid CDM. He is, for me, one of the best footballers in the world. Honestly, he's outrageous, and I'm not sure if I'd put him on the podium for the Ballon d'Or, but he'd be pretty damn close for me, especially with the titles he's won this season.
Mm-hmm. Boy. Mm-hmm. Oh, you made some good arguments.
I would put Rodri like in top 5. I also agree. Like, he's been outstanding. I think now he went from like a really good midfielder to like top 5 midfielders in the world.
Yeah.
Simply because I think sometimes the titles are the things that push you to that next level, and now it's like evidently that Rodri is up there and is amazing, and he just simply has the world on his feet. 26 years of age, he has so much times more in football. It's amazing.
Yeah, folks. I got to point out again, I think we've said this on the pod before, but I think people overlook the impact and the weight the defensive midfielder has on a club. When you look at the teams over the last couple of decades that have dominated Europe, you can point to the strength in that pivot role, in that defensive mid role. I'm talking Rodri. I'm talking Casemiro. I'm talking Busquets. I'm talking Kimmich. Keep rolling it back. We're talking Conte. We're talking whatever. The names are dropping off of my mind. But you guys get the point, right? You're not going to find success in Europe without that star defensive midfielder. And Pablo, I think you're right. If I'm building a team today, I don't think I get through too many picks before I bring Rodri onto my team.
Yeah. For me, if you're making like a World 11, I think he has to be in it now. But I wonder where in that World 11 he'd be ranked if you were to get those 11 players and put them in like a little order. And I think it could be top 5.
Yeah. And it would also depend on who's doing the ranking. You know, there tends to be an offensive bias, I think, for fans in particular. I think if you went and asked players, it might be a little bit different. But for fans, and you know, I've been susceptible to this as well. You get the FIFA effect where you're building an ultimate team and you go, you know, a one defender and 10 attackers out there is often what you get. But if you were building a logical, practical team, I think Rodri is in your top 3 picks, maybe.
Yeah. Bro, I remember when I don't know if it was like FIFA 19 or some shit like that, where people had Gareth Bale as a defensive midfielder, and I was like, dude, why? Why? And it's like that for me killed the game. It's like I cannot even right now, you know?
Yeah. FIFA has its influence. It definitely does.
Remember when we started talking like half an hour and just FIFA ratings? There was a pod like that.
Yeah.
That was
maybe we have room for that this summer. Once the FIFA 24 ratings come out, we might have some time, maybe a little lull in the transfer window, and we can dive right in. I know Pablo will love that.
Yeah.
Pablo's eyes just lit up.
It was a funny episode, to be fair. That one I remember it very well.
Yeah. All right, BUGA. You want to hit us with Twisted Take number 2?
Yeah, well, I don't know if it's that twisted, but mine is that Barcelona.
Stop. He does this every time. Well, I don't know. It maybe not twisted. And then he hits us with a ridiculously twisted take. Or the times when he's like, this is so twisted, you guys. It's like, BUGA, that wasn't even slightly twisted. I'm excited for this one, BUGA. Hit me with it.
Okay, after a long time of thinking, I've gotten to the conclusion that Ansu Fati needs to become left winger starter for Barcelona next season.
Pause for my eyebrows to come back down to my face. Talk to me about your reasoning. What is your justification for this, good sir?
Well, first of all, I think it's more of a confidence problem than a physical problem. Like I think that Pablo will agree as well. Seeing Ansu Fati the other day in the Nations League final, he's sharp. The kid is looking sharp
good.
again.
Very good.
Yeah. And he has gotten back to that one-on-one ability that kind of he missed before. His final product is not there. Like his crosses were not on point. His finishing was not on point. But that is something you can get back on, right? After you playing consistent minutes. And I think that that's a problem right now that Barcelona have, because Xavi is looking for that product right now, that end product. I don't know if he's going to get time to get back to, where he needs to be. But I just look at him and he's like, 20 years? He still has the world on his feet. He has so much time to get back on track. Which left winger are you going to bring? There are not that many left wingers out there right now. I think we can get this guy in. Just honestly, like if I were Barcelona, I think you need to make 3 signings and that's it, or 2, and you're fine. But keep Ansu Fati, keep having the little bit of confidence in him. And I don't understand really why Xavi is so like determined on getting somebody else instead of Ansu Fati. I feel he needs to stay for some reason. For instance, here now, De La Fuente just took him to Spain, and I feel that it shows, and I think it will be a waste of time. And I'm actually very happy that he's staying put. Like I want to stay in Barcelona. No, I want to stay in Barcelona. At the end of the day, if you really want something, you have to fight for it, and he's doing that. So kudos to him.
Boy, okay. I mean, fair points. I'll say this will be the make or break year for Ansu if it does happen. I don't think he gets another year's chance if he doesn't make it happen this year. I agree with all your points. He's 20 years old. He has moments where he looks like the Ansu that we know he can be. And I do agree. I think it is a confidence issue at this point. He's had a full calendar year since his last injury. He's had sporadic playing time, which can definitely affect your confidence and your how in the flow you are of things. So I don't. Looking at next year, if Barcelona don't make more signings, you could have Ansu and Abde as your left winger options, and if for some reason neither of them are pulling their weight, you could just go back to the 4 midfield option that Xavi was using with Gavi out on that left wing, particularly if Barcelona bring in some midfield reinforcements. So I don't think Barcelona are risking all that much if they just keep Ansu for another year. I think small risk, big reward if he actually fulfills his potential that we know he can.
I completely agree. It's never sat right with me losing Ansu. I think for Xavi, I think we read that he prefers keeping Ferran over Ansu, which I disagree with. I think that's a money situation because Barca are worried with fair play. They won't be able to recoup as much on Ferran as they would on Ansu because he's from La Masia, of course. There's no cost going the other way. But I think you guys make good points as well. It's not like we're going to bring in like another winger. If we sell Ansu away, it'll be Abde and Ferran or the 4 midfielders or Carrasco like at most. Like we're not bringing in like Rafael Leao, It's not going to be Ansu out for a superstar. It's, Ansu out for no one. So you know what? Like I said, it's never actually sat right with me losing Ansu. I would actually keep him in the squad next year. He did look very good for Spain. I'm not saying he will be unbelievable for Barcelona, but at 20 years old, it feels too early to give up on him for what? Like, what would it be as well? 40 million euros it probably would be, wouldn't it? Like, come on. I don't know.
I don't know if even that.
Yeah, exactly. 30 maybe, yeah.
I think somebody will try to, play hardball in those negotiations, knowing that the value has dropped a lot. Because I think, what was it, a year and a half ago, he would have been worth maybe 100 million.
Oh, yeah.
Something like that. No questions asked.
Yeah. There were rumors that we rejected a 150 bid from Man U.
Yep.
Yeah. So, but here's the thing. Go ahead, Buga.
Like, people now make fun of him having the number 10 shirt, but there was a point where he was the only one worthy of having that shirt. Him and Pedri. So, like, people they forget very fast, I think. And I just really, I don't know. I think he has to stay. We have to make it work. There's no reason not to. And the other day, watching him against Spain, with Spain against Croatia, I was just, it's so long I've actually seen him play. Like, I know he's played this season quite a lot, and he's been out of injuries quite a lot, but he hasn't played as a starter. He didn't play as a starter the other day either, but it's just like, it's been a while since we've seen Fati play consistent minutes, and he and Ferran Torres have the same problem. I feel like both of them just need to be given time on the left wing, play there for a while, or Ferran Torres maybe. What I would actually do is maybe play Dembele on the left and then Rafinha on the right. I don't know how you're gonna distribute that, but the thing is that they just need to find some consistent rhythm, because I think Fati can make it work. I really do.
Yeah. I think if Barcelona go into next season with Ansu and Abde as left wing options, Lewandowski and Vitor Roque through the middle, Dembele and Rafinha as the right wing options, and then if for some reason things need to be shaken up, you can always go back to a 4 in the midfield. I think that gives Barcelona the options that they need.
I completely agree.
One player that we will not be seeing wearing a Barcelona kit, and this is where we got to acknowledge we were a little bit wrong on the last episode. Messi, officially with Miami. The last time we recorded a podcast, I think all three of us were thinking it was going to be a Barcelona move for the little magic man. And then he said, you know what? I don't want to wait. I don't want players to take salary cuts. I don't want players to have to be transferred out unnecessarily. I'm going to Miami, boys. So the Messi effect has begun. I don't know if any of you have looked at ticket prices for Inter Miami. Have you guys checked this out at all?
No, but you sent something through,
You said something really interesting.
Dude, pre-Messi, if you wanted to sit in the supporters section right behind the goal for Inter Miami match, $30, and you can pick whatever match you want. Now, all the matches are sold out, and if you want a ticket behind the goal in the supporters section, it is $1,300 for one match. And you don't even know if Messi's going to even play. Like, there's no guarantee.
Yeah.
Inter Miami is coming to Cincinnati in August. All right. They're playing in a cup match, the semifinal of the Open Cup. There is no word yet whether Messi will even be traveling with the team. The tickets are going for $400 in the supporters section, over $1,000 in the rest of the stadium. This is wild. The Messi effect has begun.
Imagine you pay $1,300 to get a ticket and you just end up watching Josep Martinez.
Oh man, it's wild, but it's gonna happen. Like, listen, there's two things that come to mind with this going on. One was back in the 90s with Michael Jordan in the NBA. Anytime the Chicago Bulls went and played in another city, that game was sold out for that city. It didn't matter how bad your team was. It was a traveling show to watch the Chicago Bulls. Same thing happened with David Beckham and the LA Galaxy. Wherever the LA Galaxy went, that stadium got sold out for that game. I was in Denver, Colorado, season ticket holder for the Colorado Rapids. I was at the first match when LA came without David Beckham. The anger in the stadium was unmatched. I have not seen a reaction like that from what I would say are otherwise impartial fans. So if David Beckham has that reaction. I can only imagine the chaos that will ensue for these people that are paying $1,000 or more. Imagine the parents who want to take their 2 or 3 kids to this game that spend $5,000 on a 2-hour event and Messi doesn't show up.
It is horrible, and you just know by the way that he isn't going to play in a lot of them.
Yeah, he's not going to play every match.
Like, when is he even going to join up, by the way? Because I can imagine him having a huge summer.
There's no word yet. So he's going from a full European season, with a World Cup in the middle of it.
Yeah, he's not coming
into
back.
Nations League, and now you're just going to drop him into it's not really the middle, the early third part of the MLS season. Even a young man like Pedri can't play year round without picking up injuries. Messi at 35, soon to be 36 years old, is not going to be playing throughout the summer. I think he eases his way into the Inter Miami team. By the fall, when playoffs start coming around, that's when you'll see Messi, I think, really start to hit his stride with Inter Miami.
And they might need him, am I right in saying they're bottom?
They're bottom, dude. Bottom of the table. So they might even not have a postseason. They might not have playoffs. As of right now, yeah. But FC Cincinnati was bottom of the league 2 years ago. Last year we made the playoffs. This year we're top of the table. So it can be a quick turnaround in the MLS.
Well, I've heard they're getting Busquets as well, no, into Miami.
That's what reports are saying. I'm very curious to see how that talent translates to Major League Soccer.
Yeah.
It's a different style of play. Not to suggest by any means that Busquets can't hang. That's not what I'm suggesting. But just because he had Xavi really catering Barcelona's style of play for Busquets, and I'll say his lack of movement. I don't know if he's going to have the same advantages in the MLS. So I'm kind of curious to see how that plays out.
Who have they got in as coach?
I think they have someone in the interim now. They just fired Phil Neville.
Yeah. Was it someone like Tata Martino?
I think he was on the short list. Let me see here.
Yeah, I saw he was on the short list.
That'll be a good appointment.
Javier Morales.
Okay.
Apparently named.
Well, to be fair, I imagine Inter Miami will do better though if they get Busquets, Messi, and Alba.
Oh yeah. That's a significant upgrade for sure.
Very, very strong, isn't it? I mean, if you consider Alba played 120 minutes last night in a Nations League final, for Spain. Busquets has still been playing at a very high level last season. Messi's just won a World Cup. These players can still go.
Joseph Martinez, one of the best strikers in the league. He'll be playing alongside Messi. They've got Rodolfo Pizarro. DeAndre Yedlin, U.S. men's national team right back legend. Come on, they've got. Kidding on that one, of course, everybody. But they've got they got some players for Messi to play alongside. But I do think Busquets and Alba. I'd rather see Suarez. I think that would be if you had Martinez, Messi, and Suarez as your front three. I think that would be worth the price of admission. Maybe not $1,000, but
they went from Neymar to Joseph Martinez.
Yeah, I am kind of curious if Messi will find it frustrating going from playing with players at Barca, Argentina, PSG to now MLS. You know what I mean? Because Messi is a player that more than most is a team player. I know that he is the magic man. He puts everybody on his back, but he's a team player. So I'm curious to see how that shakes out.
Yep.
We shall see. Let's see. What do we want to transition to? Can we keep it in America for a little bit? I know we got international listeners here, so you might not care all that much. But I got to talk about Berhalter coming back. So are you all aware of the backstory for this?
No, I know something about with Gio Reyna, but I'm not sure.
You explained on a pod before, but go on, hit us with a bit of a summary and what this means.
Okay, so Gio Reyna, son of former U.S. men's national team player Claudio Reyna, who played with Gregg Berhalter, right? So flash to this past World Cup. Gio Reyna, apparently, from reports, was having an attitude problem, not showing up for the team and meeting expectations. He was almost sent home from the World Cup. It got that bad. Behind the scenes, Claudio Reyna, Gio's dad, and mother apparently start sending some letters to the U.S. Soccer Federation trying to blackmail Berhalter, saying that they have some information about an incident, and if Gio just doesn't start getting some playing time, they're going to release this information. Well, Gio didn't get playing time. Before you know it, this story comes out of Gregg Berhalter kicking his wife like 2 decades ago after some, domestic argument outside of a pub somewhere. Berhalter comes out, acknowledges it, does all these things, blah, blah, blah. They let him go after the World Cup. A couple months have gone by. Investigations have happened. Berhalter is now coming back to the U.S. men's national team. So they apparently did look at some high-profile names. They did not state anybody specifically, but somebody came out and said that they were looking at some top managers in Europe. And we landed back with Berhalter. So he's coming back, and this is after now U.S. have just won the Nations League with dominating Mexico and Canada, and Gio Reyna was the star of the show. 2 assists in the 2-0 win in the final last night. I'm telling you, he is big boy doing big things, all right? Keep an eye out for this guy. When Holland called him the American dream, he wasn't lying. Smooth as silk. Reyna's got the potential. I cannot wait to see what happens with Berhalter coming back, because if there's any dip in form from Reyna, there's going to be that tension. There's going to be, is Berhalter the reason? Is there still drama in the locker room? So in a time when U.S. men's national team is moving forward, we just got Balogun, who had 21 goals in Ligue 1 this year, right? On loan from Arsenal. Reyna, like I just mentioned. Chris Richards breaking through as our next star center back. He's playing for Crystal Palace right now, so he's got some growing up to do, but he's going to be big time as well. U.S. men's national team looking bright. I don't love this move, bringing Berhalter back. It feels a bit stale to me.
I was going to say, who's the coach who just won the
Nations League?
I'm gonna mess up his name if I don't look it up right now. You're a manager.
Is it like an
such a
interim
generic name? BJ Callahan. I was like, I know it's a very just generic name. BJ Callahan was his name.
Was that like an interim, or was he actually hired?
No, he was just an interim manager.
Yeah.
But folks, I'll tell you what. The game against Mexico in particular, that was maybe the best U.S. men's national team I've ever seen.
That's what I mean.
This is without Tyler Adams, our captain and pivot. This final against Canada was without Adams, without Dest, and without McKennie.
Yeah.
And we still dominated.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It maybe wouldn't have been a bad idea to put him in then. I mean, it's so interesting bringing this, how do I pronounce it, Berhalter guy back. I mean, the investigation must not have been that serious then for them to bring him back, and it must have just been a nothing situation. But you do wonder what Reyna feels, especially if you're telling me that he's now thriving in the team.
Oh yeah, big time. So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens over the summer.
I think the U.S. national team, depends on was the coaches that you were looking for actually like good.
There were names like Jose Mourinho was thrown out. Not that he's a top manager, but Jesse Marsch was on the short list. He's got plenty of European experience at this point.
This is I don't know why, but I love Jesse Marsch.
I love Jesse Marsch. How can you not? It's the passion, right? It's the energy that he brings.
He should take over the U.S. national team, get all the players, the young players.
Sorry, have any of you guys watched Ted Lasso?
Of course.
Yeah, I'm on season 3. Yeah.
Why is he like Ted Lasso?
It's just funny. Like when I hear John speak now.
Oh no. Yep. All right.
Oh, sorry. You cut off for a minute there.
Oh, I cut off. Okay. All good. Did you have something else to say, Pablo?
No, I was just like, it's just funny. Like you remind me of him a little bit.
It happens. I get that from time to time. I used to what was it? Maybe 4 years ago now. Before the show came out, my hair was exactly like his.
Really? Yeah.
It was just the mustache. I wasn't letting this beard grow out at all. So yeah, could have been him for Halloween for sure.
No, it's good. I'm on. I think I'm on episode 5 of season 1 now. I just started.
Oh, you just started?
Yeah.
Late to the game, but it's good. Enjoy the
rest. It starts good. I think then it goes like.
Oh yeah, a lot of shows do that. But power through. It's enjoyable.
I think I'll be fine. Yeah.
I think you'll be okay. Yeah. All right. So enough about USA then. But let's discuss Nations League. US won, Spain won. Here's the thing, though. Does anybody care? Does this tournament hold any weight, any clout, any prestige? Or is it just a friendly in makeup?
That's what I want to ask Pablo. Because, in my opinion, I think it doesn't because it's new. It's a Europa Conference League all over again.
Yeah.
You need to play it time and time and time again to actually see something grow, But also, I want that to happen in South America. Because, I think the Nations League at least makes it a little bit more interesting. And I would love to see that happen in CONMEBOL. I think just make them the friendlies. Is that we never really have friendlies between each other. It's it should be just I don't know, have a mini league,
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. But then the mini league will be the same as the qualifiers for the World Cup. So I don't know. But it's just make it something so it's a little more interesting, so it's a little more worth my while, to watch. Because the South Korea game against the Peru play friendly, for instance, nobody even watched that, We saw Son versus, I don't know, Paolo Guerrero, and nobody cared.
What do we think, Pablo, as the resident trophy king on the pod? How do you feel about this? It is another trophy. Yeah.
Well, I mean, to be fair, for me, it feels that the season's over, and I'm still another trophy just gets added to the cabinet. So I'm happy, obviously. But you know what? I've always been a bit of a fan of the Nations League, and people mock me a lot because I don't think people care about it. I'm gonna say that as the first thing. However, I quite like the idea of it. I think it adds competitive football. I think we've got some really good semi-finals and finals out of it in the past few years. Actually, I remember a few years ago. France, we played Italy in the semis, France played Belgium, and then it was Spain-France final. Those 3 games are really, really competitive and strong fixtures. So it feels good to win it with Spain finally, actually. But I think it's one of those things that you only really care if you're in it. For example, the England fans now, because they've been embarrassed in it. Everyone in this country is like, oh, yeah. We hate the Nations League. It doesn't mean anything. I remember England, they were in the Nations League semi-finals on its first edition. They actually knocked out Spain in the group stage and were going absolutely wild at the Benito Villamarín. They won 3-2. And then they played Netherlands in the semi-final. And I remember people were going mad again. It was just a year after the 2018 World Cup, and they were all up for it as if it was this massive tournament. If people in England were come on. They went 1-0 up against Netherlands. It was absolutely wild. They ended up getting knocked out. But the point is that if they'd gone on to win that tournament, they would have gone on and on and on about first trophy since '66 and everything, and ultimately it is an international trophy. So look, I wouldn't hold it like a Euros or a World Cup, but to be fair, it's competitive enough football, and I don't mind it.
Yeah, it is good football. I think some of it is going to come down to some time, right? You got to build the prestige behind it. I did see, I think it was ESPN, who is sometimes so out of touch. They piss me off. But I digress. They did share out a tweet that Jesus Navas, first player to win the Euros, the World Cup, and Nations League.
Yeah, incredible. I know, incredible. To be fair, he was starting Spanish right back in 2018-19 for a bit, and then Luis Enrique brought him back in as well. And then he kind of faded away, and I always thought he'd be a good right back option. But to bring him back in, I think he's 37 or 38 now. And obviously, he was part of the 2010 World Cup squad. To be playing in the 2023 Nations League final is pretty incredible.
Yeah, he's been around for a while. I mean, he had a spell at Man City there for a bit. I mean, he's one of those guys that sometimes you overlook.
To right back.
Yeah.
I think that's what really made him, transition all these years.
Yeah.
Well, you get to extend your career You know, you don't rely as much on the pace up the wing. You defend a little bit more, and look at that. You become the first winner of the 3 biggest international trophies.
Yeah.
Oh, good stuff. Good
and
stuff.
Normally, I just want to highlight, normally that would be the other way around. Normally, you would think like, oh, Jordi Alba becomes, or Alphonso Davies. Like, you could just see Alphonso Davies becoming when he's like 30, a left winger, because defending takes so much out of you. And it's like, now it's the other way around. He was a winger and then make him a right back. And he's like, he's still running.
Am I making it up that Gareth Bale started out as a left back?
Yeah.
I'm making that up. He did start. Okay.
Yeah, he did
like
play
back in his Tottenham days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think he did. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, it does happen, right? Alphonso Davies actually has been playing forward for Canada.
Does he? Yeah, he does, doesn't he?
Yeah, because once you put him on that squad, like, he's the best athlete, hands down, like on the pitch even. He's incredible. He moves a bit like Dembele. He doesn't have the control in the dribbling, but in terms of the pace and the ability to stop and go at full speed, like lightning quick, the dangerous guy.
He does remind me of Balde quite a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not the other way around.
Now, Balde, the next golden boy, hopefully. We'll see.
Should be.
All right. Mbappe drama 2.0. I love this. Mbappe sends a letter saying that he will not be extending his contract. The footballing world freaks out. He goes, why is everybody, I said this last year. Why is everybody up in arms about this? I don't understand. One of the best strikers in the world leaving for free next summer. I don't understand what the big news is about. The audacity of downplaying this is shocking to me. But beyond that, what is your initial reactions? BUGA, we'll go to you first on this one. What are your thoughts on Mbappe transfer saga 2.0?
I don't know. And this is where I wanted to ask about it. Do you, first of all, I think it mostly depends on Real Madrid. And Florentino Perez apparently said that after Joselu, there's not going to be any more signings.
Yeah, why would you? Done deal. You got it. You don't need Mbappe.
Yeah. Nations League.
But you know what I mean? Like if they actually want to get Mbappe, I think they're going to get him. But for me, it doesn't make a little bit of sense. Like, Mbappe for Real Madrid, honestly, like, yeah, people are going to say it fits because they're missing a striker. But he mostly would like to play for the left. And the only player I think in world football that can actually like touch the heels of Mbappe right now for being consistent through the left wing would be Vinicius Jr. So what would you do between those two? I have no idea. So I feel that Mbappe is just like, he wants next season to be his last maybe at PSG. And I feel that he will be sort of preparing a move for then. I'm not too sure he's going to move this year. And I sort of hope that maybe Barcelona can get him next year.
BUGA, that should have been your twisted take, buddy.
Yeah.
Pablo, what's your reactions?
I think it's a bit ridiculous, the whole saga, actually. I think from all parties, from Mbappe's side, because he keeps doing this, like, I want to leave, and then he ends up getting persuaded by PSG to stay. From PSG's side, because I think they probably should have had the dignity to let him go a while ago and not like lock him up there if he wants to go. And then for Real Madrid, I don't think they're doing anything wrong, but it's also a bit embarrassing when they're like chasing him all summer. It's an open fact. They're willing to pay like 200 million for a player with 1 year left on his contract. It's all agreed, and then on deadline day he says no. I think that's happened like twice now or something. So it's not ideal, I think, for everyone involved. And what's happening this summer is just pretty similar. Thankfully, it feels like it's been nipped in the bud really early this time. It lasted about like 12 hours or something, where Mbappe had the chance to activate a 1 year extension to 2025, and he said, I don't want to do it. That meant that he's only got 1 year left, obviously, so PSG would rather lose him now than for free in 2024. But Mbappe's adamant on staying this year at PSG, and to be honest, I don't think Real Madrid will get him this summer. I think 2023-2024 season, Mbappe's a PSG player. However, as we saw with the year before, Mbappe was in that same situation. I think it was in 2021 to 2022. And summer of 2022 came around just after Real Madrid won the Champions League, right? And Mbappe was out of contract, and everyone thought he was going to Real Madrid, and he ended up staying at PSG. So I think PSG, again, will try and play that card. They're going to try and use this year to get Macron involved, to get everyone involved, and just somehow get Mbappe to stay and renew. But I've said my thoughts on it a while ago. I think he should have gone a long time ago. I think he will go this time around. But I don't think PSG will be down and out of the battle to keep him. I think there could be more.
Where do you think Real Madrid? I think that's the only place he can go. That's the only place
he'll be
Mbappe can go.
If he goes, it's Real Madrid, mate, for sure. It's PSG or Real Madrid, in my opinion. There's no other way. But we've said before with Real Madrid, and you mentioned El Vinicius. I don't know what the plan is. To be fair, I don't even know what the plan is this season for Real Madrid. It can't be Rodrigo, Vinicius, and Joselu, can it? Like, it just cannot. So unless it's Valverde on the right, Rodrigo down the middle, and Vinicius on the left. But again, that to me doesn't feel like it's sustainable over like a 50, 60 game season. So they're in an odd spot as well. I'm not sure the fans are too happy with how they're looking, especially after quite a weak season. But if Mbappe comes, what would happen? You know, he wants that left channel. No, he's said that many times.
Yeah. All right, I've got a twisted take. Mbappe could go to Newcastle.
That's no.
Bro, yes.
No.
They can afford him. He slides in. He's the face of the team. European football.
Why would he go to Newcastle, bro?
Yeah.
No.
To be the star, to be the man. Why would you not?
I don't even want to talk about this anymore.
We're going to talk about it for the rest of the podcast. We're not moving on, okay? Mbappe at Newcastle makes sense. They can afford him. They are up and coming in terms of being competitors in Europe and the EPL. They are investing in the club in terms of being a global brand. He would look good in the black and white stripes. Guys, this is all making sense. I don't understand why you're not on board with this.
This is why,
and it keeps him out of Madrid. Come on.
This is why, like, people say American
don't do it.
No football.
I knew you were gonna say it. I knew it. Before it even came out of your mouth, I knew you were gonna say that, BUGA. Dagger to the heart. You're killing me.
No, he
all right, you're going to be embarrassed when it happens, you guys.
He cannot go to Newcastle.
No.
They don't have the prestige, you know. Look.
Who has more prestige, PSG or Newcastle?
But PSG, he's guaranteed to win trophies and Champions League. And Newcastle aren't.
What did you just say to me? Did you just say that PSG, he's guaranteed to win a Champions League trophy?
No, trophies.
Did you just say
like a peer?
Yeah.
Okay.
In the Champions League every year.
Okay. All right. I was going to say.
No, I haven't gone that mad.
I don't know. I can't think of a logical place besides Real Madrid, but I do agree that ultimately a Vinny Jr., Mbappe, Rodrigo front three is great on paper, but will Vinny and Mbappe be okay sharing the spotlight in that way? Or will it be a Messi, Neymar, Suarez situation where even though Messi and Suarez were happy to set up Neymar as best they could, Neymar was never happy not being the man? So would that be the same problem there? I don't know. I don't know.
I feel they just don't fit like between them all. But one place that I do think Real Madrid are just looking so good is, bro, their midfield. Why Jude Bellingham is so good, and they signed him, and it's like annoying.
I'm curious if they will actually have a midfield three of Bellingham, Tchouaméni, and Camavinga, or if they'll keep this experiment of Camavinga at left back going.
No, I think Camavinga needs to go back to the midfield.
I still think Modric and Kroos are going to play a lot.
I was going to say Kroos, I think, is on the verge of extending if he didn't already extend. So I think Modric and Kroos are still going to have their say in the midfield.
Yeah, I still think Real Madrid's issue is they haven't replaced Casemiro. Who plays in front of the defense? I know they tried to flip it this season where like Kroos kind of plays a bit deeper. Hasn't worked. Like, has not worked. They haven't got someone to play in front of the defense. Again, Bellingham is not going to play in front of the defense. So profiles is a bit off in midfield for Real Madrid. But I imagine it'll be like if Valverde plays right wing a lot, which I think he will if they don't sign anyone else, then that gives a bit more room to the likes of. I don't know what Tchouaméni is going to do. I don't know. I don't think he's going to play much. I think maybe like Modric, Kroos, and Bellingham, or Modric, Camavinga, and Bellingham.
Maybe. I just feel that
Well, Danny Ceballos, sorry.
Danny Ceballos. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, listen, Madrid is building a scary team, for sure. But they do seem to be missing a couple of pieces. Yeah. Striker number one. Losing Benzema, I think, is a huge deal for them, that maybe we're not giving it the weight that it deserves. I mean, that's a lot of goals to be walking away.
And no one to replace them.
They've got problems in defence as well, for sure. Fullbacks are weak, in my opinion, very weak. You got the centre backs. I'm not sure about. I'm not totally convinced. I'm not going to lie. I think we've seen that in big Champions League games as well. Up front, you said it. They got Brahim Diaz back, to be fair, haven't they, from AC Milan?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they've gone on. You know what, like. Gone back to pieces. Maybe Florentino is planning something to pull out the back, or we've always say this for so much time. They have money because they've been doing this same thing window after window, just buying Camavinga for like 30 million, stuff like that. So when you think about it, they just suddenly could splash the money for someone like Bellingham, and nobody even bats an eyelid. Like he just was going to Real Madrid, and that was it. So I feel something very similar could happen with Mbappe, maybe other players in the future, like, I don't know, like maybe even like a Harry Kane. They could do that. But we just have to wait and see what actually Florentino is planning. He will only make the right move when he deems it realistic. Because if not, even without a Casemiro replacement, even without a number 9, Real Madrid are going to somehow, like still be managed to be talked about by, like February and March of next season. They're still going to be able to do that because of the quality that they have. And I feel that's the sort of tactic that they always employ. And let's wait and see, because I still feel that the team that they're building is good enough to show up. And I can just see someone like Joselu, because of, I don't know why, because Marianito, I don't know, even like, you know how they like to talk about like, oh yeah, because of the spirit of blah, 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 blah. Like, yeah, he would just suddenly become like a good player. Yeah, I can see that for some whatever reason. Because
what has been good is that only Benzema and Lewandowski scored more goals than him in Spain last season.
Yeah, so like, let's wait and see what happens with Real Madrid.
We shall see. We shall see. Lots of time left in this summer transfer window, so we'll see what unfolds here. Last topic of the day, speaking of transfers, the Saudi shopping spree going on. Started with Ronaldo, that was the biggest one, but they're bringing names like Benzema, Kante, Ruben Neves. Apparently they were looking at Lukaku. I think he turned him down, but they're going after some notable names here. Koulibaly, Edouard Mendy. Yep.
Yeah,
it keeps on going. So
everyone,
what is your take on this? What is the reaction? Are they making enough waves that this is going to turn into a legitimate league? Are people going to start watching? Where do you see this going, folks? BUGA, we'll start with you, since Pablo maybe had to just refresh there.
I'm just annoyed. I'm really just like annoyed with it, because for me, you're wasting. I know what they're trying to do, right? They're like trying to be the new China. This is why we say the same thing with China like a few years ago, and at the end of the day, nobody still watch it. But I mean, they got like the license to appear on FIFA, so that's something. I feel that Saudi clubs are gonna try to push for something very similar. Like, I just feel like so many players could be wasted there, like Ziyech, Koulibaly, Mahrez, Kante, Benzema. Ruben Neves for me is the one, and especially like not Benzema and not Ronaldo. Kante,
that makes sense.
That is like, yeah, you could see that happening, but moving for Ruben Neves and he actually going there, and no other club in the world of football top 5 leagues wanting him, and then like Koulibaly and then Ziyech, it means that the money is really, really big. Like, it has to be outstanding money to be able to lure them like that so easily. So I don't know. It just makes you think, how much money actually did they offer someone like Leo Messi? So and how much he turned down. So
billion.
I don't know. It's annoying. I find it a little bit annoying. I find it sad. But at the end of the day, money talks, and that's what's happening right now. And we're seeing all of these players like, why would you try and I don't know, test yourself somewhere else when you're just gonna make in a year like maybe thrice the time, the amount of money that you will make like battling out. I don't know if Koulibaly went back to Juventus or Ziyech went to AC Milan, you know.
Yeah. Pablo, what do you think?
Well, I mean, it's going to be quite useful for a lot of clubs. I mean, Chelsea's a good example. We've got so much dead wood, like Ziyech, Koulibaly, and Mendy, who we want gone, and we're going to get really good transfer fees. They're going to take all their wages. It's like a dream actually for the window in terms of sales. Bowley rocked up there a few days ago, and they'd agreed to just buy the whole squad. So it's like, right, fantastic news. But yeah, it's not great, is it? Of course, we've got to wait and see if it is at the Chinese Super League or not. I think when they start buying players like Ruben Neves in their prime, who were like potentially wanted by clubs like Barcelona, well, not the technical staff, but the board, that's when it becomes a slight worry. But at the same time, I remember Oscar, the Brazilian for Chelsea, went to Shanghai for, I think it was like 55, 60 million pounds. And it was a similar thing in his prime, very good attacking player. A lot of clubs in Europe would have had him. And we thought, ooh, are they building something? And they didn't in the end. But my God, I mean, they don't know that they're going to stop. And I think they've got infinite money, the Saudis. So in my opinion, it's going to be different to the Chinese Super League. I think they're going to keep going. And you just wonder how many players are going to be there by the end of the summer. And actually, let's say like by the end of 2025, how is the league going to look? Like an all-stars league?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm curious because this is now, to your point, I would say the third attempt for a league doing this. MLS tried it.
Yeah.
But they went more for a retirement league. They were bringing in Pirlo and Lampard and Gerrard and all those guys that were ready to hang up their boots, right? But big names that can draw a crowd and get some attention.
Ibra at the time.
Yes. MLS realized, okay, this is not the way to build a good league. These guys are coming in, big names, overpaid. They don't care. There's not a passion for it. Most of them didn't play in half of the games that they should have. So MLS started to steer towards, you know what? Let's actually invest in some of these other CONCACAF nations and get their youth talent built up. So now there's a pretty good base for the league. And then you bring in some of these European names to supplement, but it's not built off of that. China did the same thing. I don't think that they've struck the balance that MLS has struck. Saudi League is interesting to me because they have way more money, way more financial power than the MLS or the Chinese Super League did. So they can just keep throwing money at the problem. And if they can get a foothold, we'll say, and then maybe they make some deals with broadcast companies to get the game shown in other countries. Because I don't know where do you even see the Saudi League? Where do you even find it? You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Like they don't have a deal with ESPN or any of the major broadcasting companies. So that'll be next. Once they get a couple of teams that are worth watching, is can they get them in front of the footballing world? That'll be a big turning point if they can get there. For me right now, I think this is just bad for the footballing world. It's taking away talented players that would be, I would say, not like the cornerstone, but big part of some European clubs and players that are fun to watch. So I think right now it's just going to take away. I don't think it's really adding anything positive for the viewers right now.
Yeah, I feel like in other sports, for instance, do you watch UFC? So like in UFC now we have a lot of the matches are played in Saudi Arabia. And I feel that at the end of the day, the broadcaster rights are going to come because now you have the sound showing them and stuff like that. So it's easy. I guess it's easier with UFC because it's just like one match, every like 3 years or 3 months. So yeah, I think at the end of the day, it will come. It will come. I feel that, like you said, the money is just so easy for them to splash it about. And the thing about MLS that I feel I also really like, but it's a little bit different, and why perhaps it may not compete, even though I still feel they can, is because one, they have the connection to South America. Like for South American players, it's so easy to move there, and particularly because of how the context works like that, I feel that that's one place they can continue to buy, and it's not going to be a problem. And US football is becoming its own thing, but I feel the thing that can hurt them is just the structure of the league, like being how it is. It's like people now watch Messi, and it's like, what? Like, like, why are they playing right now? and stuff like that. Or
and
why
what
do you
are
have
playoffs?
what are playoffs? Why do you have Eastern and Western Conference? Like stuff like that. I feel that could hurt it. Saudi Arabia, I think it's just like the normal league, right? So I feel stuff like that could eventually unbalance the books, but let's see how it goes. I feel that, like you say, Saudi Arabia just splashing the money about, and I'm just so annoyed with it. I just see every day a new player being linked to there, and players that realistically I could go like, it would be so good for this team, in the Champions League and stuff like that. And it tells you that at the end of the day, money's, I don't know, like.
Well, you got to keep in mind that as much as we project onto these players of, they're living their dreams, they're professional footballers playing for the passion and the love of the sport. For some guys, it's just a job.
Yeah.
For some guys, it's, hey, you know what? I'm really good at this, but I'd actually rather be painting in my garage, or I'd rather be a construction worker. Like, there's guys who don't love the game of football that are incredibly good and get paid a lot of money to do it. So for those guys that are like, oh, you're going to pay me 4 times as much as what anybody else would pay me, sure, I'll go and do that for a couple of years and then hang up my boots. We hate to see it as supporters, as fans of the game. I don't like that, but
it happens.
Do you take care of your family?
Gareth Bale.
Gareth Bale. Yeah, exactly. So we'll see. I think there's going to be some more moves. I think there's going to be maybe even some bigger names that we're not expecting that wind up there. So all I'll say is stay tuned. We'll see what happens. Any final thoughts, boys?
I don't know. I want to talk about a little bit quickly about what do you think about Vitor Roque? Have you seen much of him? Should I be super excited?
I'm not going to get super excited. I'm not going to do it because there's no sign telling me that he can be successful in Europe. He hasn't played at the top level yet. And the chances of it being a flop to me are higher than being the next original Ronaldo, as what some people are saying.
What about you, Pablo?
I haven't seen enough of him, but it does strike me as more sort of a positive signing. It's not like I'm signing Mateus Fernandes or Gustavo Maya, which Barcelona have done for like 4 and 5 million. It's like it's more for me along the Rodrigo and Vinicius signings, even Neymar. Yeah. We're signing the top guy from Brazil. I think him and André Santos were the 2 best to come out of this sort of like age group for Brazil. Top scorer and player of the year, player of the tournament. Sorry, at the recent was it on the 20s, on the 19s World Cup. Chelsea got André Santos, and now Barca have got Vitor Roque. I think he looks like a talent, to be fair. So I'm quietly quite hopeful actually that he could be one of like the stars of European football in the future.
How far into the future though? Like how long do you think you'd have to wait? Let's say he goes to Barcelona this summer.
Yeah. I mean, he's 18.
How long before he's a household
18.
name? 1 or 2 years.
That's fast. That's
by the time you're 20, I think you want to be a solid player, like Rodrigo and Vinicius.
I think 2 years makes sense. I guess here's my point. For folks thinking that if Vitor Roque joins Barcelona this year, he's not going to be starting over Lewandowski.
No.
And I don't think Barcelona are really even going to be relying on him consistently. He'll be an understudy. You know what I mean? He'll have at least a year to grow and get a foothold. I don't think he's going to be, and it could be wrong, right? You look at someone like a Pedri that we brought in from Las Palmas, who was seen as one for the future, but right away we're like, oh, never mind. This is the chosen one. Let's get him on the first team. That could definitely happen. I'm not going to put that kind of pressure or expectations on him.
Yeah.
I would like to see it give the boy some time if he comes to Barcelona.
Yeah, I think that's the way to go. I'm just like, I don't know. We're out of suddenly, or like out of nowhere, we got the money to buy someone like him. Now, what are we gonna do about the other parts of our team? I still feel like the CDM position is such a struggle. We have Gundogan that may or may not come at this moment. I don't know. Let's wait and see. I feel it's gonna be an interesting summer, and I'm looking forward to So yeah, to Barcelona, see how they compete this year.
Absolutely. It's gonna be an exciting year, I think. Be a good one.
Yeah.
I will wrap up with an FC Cincinnati update. Nothing's changed. Top of the table, doing great things. Lucho Costa
You're
probably
going
to be
the table, like you're top.
It's still going.
Top. Cannot be stopped.
Playoffs?
Not till the fall. They start in like October or something like that. But we're in the semifinals of our domestic cup, the Open Cup, playing Inter Miami in August.
Ooh.
We are, yep, at home. Very excited for it. I got my tickets.
Have you already got a ticket?
Yeah, so as a season ticket holder, we get early access. Like, you just have to confirm, yes, I want my tickets, and we're good.
Cool.
But they got named, like, Lucho Costa is probably going to be MVP of the season. Brandon Vasquez is going to be, with Balogun joining U.S. men's national team, Brandon Vasquez won't take his spot, but Brandon Vasquez is going to be a name by the next World Cup for USA. And then we got some other players that are supplementing as well. But FC Cincinnati, fun team to watch. Lots of goals finding the back of the net. Exciting play. You haven't checked them out, tune in. They're scoring Olympicos. They're scoring volleys. It's exciting stuff. What'd you say, BUGA?
I may watch one game now.
Do it. I'll get you guys your first kits if you're in.
When the game is.
Yeah. Get the schedule.
Yeah, next one coming up is on the 21st, this Wednesday. They're playing Toronto, the Canadians.
Okay. Okay, I'll watch it.
Yes, indeed. All right, any final thoughts?
Hosselu is back. Hashtag I've just got a notification on my phone, so I'm sorry, I just can't help myself.
I love it. Good stuff. One more reminder for the roomies out there: like, subscribe, share, give a 5-star rating on Spotify. Tell your friends. Come back and tune in for the next episode. Again, summer schedule, we're doing every other week. We're not spamming you guys with transfer rumor nonsense. We want to hit you with the facts here and not waste your time. So we will continue to do that. For Pablo and BUGA, I'm John. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us. We will see you next time right here on the Engine Room.
Ciao, ciao. Peace out.